Well, back in the heyday before Super Smash Bros. Brawl was released, it was a popular trend to speculate which characters would appear in the game. Professor Layton, a character in the popular DS Brain teaser series, just doesn't seem like a character that would fit that mold. However, the Twitter account Top Hat Professor has been dropping sweet tidbit tweets such as, "I received an invitation this morning to something called the Grand Smash Bros. Tournament. Does anyone know anything about it?" And, "This is nothing like I expected. I was told to fight a blue robot boy, a possessed doll, and a tiny boxer. I'm leaving at once. I say, Panda, what the devil is going on here?"
Well, other than a really bad accent...
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. What's going on is, of course, people don't know, if you don't know this, that Twitter account is actually being updated by Nintendo itself. This is Nintendo, what was it, Nintendo of America?
Yep.
Nintendo America themselves are doing this. And you know what this tells me? This is nearly, when I saw this for the first time, that was nearly a 100% announcement. There is a new Smash Bros. Game being made that includes Mega Man, Geno, Little Mac, and Professor Layton as playable characters. And here's the thing, okay? The reason that I think that this is like a given is that on Twitter, who reads Twitter? Well, internet people that are savvy with the internet, people that pay attention to this kind of stuff. Well, people on the internet, what is the internet's most popular characters that they all want to see?
It would be Mega Man and Geno that were missing from Brawl.
Absolutely. And Ridley, but, you know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but those are two of the most popular characters that everyone wanted and everyone demanded on the internet, and they didn't get to see. They're trying to build hype, silently. And being that, who said it? Professor Layton. Professor Layton's from a DS-only series, and he really is a character that suits the DS more than anything else, given the way he's animated and stuff. Plus, with Mega Man 9 being released on WiiWare, and Little Mac's re-release, the Super Punch-Out, plus as, you know, on the WiiWare 2, the Wii Virtual Console, you have Punch-Out being released, it seems like this is a DS game. And given, I don't think Nintendo is smart enough to make another Wii Brawl anytime soon. So, you know what? I think this is an announcement that we're going to get Brawl for the DS. And it's been a long time since Jump Ultimate Stars. Jump Superstars and Jump Ultimate Stars came out a year between each other. Those are two games that were basically Smash Bros. For the DS. That was in Japan only, using characters it was made by Nintendo, of course. It was using characters from comics, mangas, like Goku, Luffy, Naruto, for people who know those names. You know, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, everything like that. And it was amazing. If they do that for the Nintendo DS, or maybe make it a DSi exclusive, those things will fly off the shelves. I'll tell you that right now. They will have a huge worldwide phenomenon on their hands, and they better do it because I want it.
I think you pretty much covered it all. It's definitely going to be something to keep our eyes on, and, you know, we're really used to, you know, Brawl hype and all that, and it's kind of leaning that way. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet because I know Nintendo likes playing with our feelings and crushing them in their hands. Oh, plus, yeah, one more thing. You know, the Sakurai, his studio, the Sora Limited or whatever, they're working on a DS game, too.
Ooh.
You know, the, what is it, WarioWare, like, make-it-yourself thing, WarioWare DIY. You can make your own WarioWare levels. They're getting more familiar with the DS hardware. And he did say that, you know, maybe there might be a DS title out there once the Wii game's out there, but don't get your hopes up or, you know, don't worry about it now, is what he said a long time ago. I think 3 years ago. 3 years ago, actually, he said that. Who knows? Now, anyways, next up, we have another news story from a completely different place, Sesame Street. You know, in this day and age, not a lot of major media sources and parental groups are willing to back up the video game medium. But you can now put a tally mark in the for column on behalf of Sesame Street. The Joan Gans Clooney Center?
No. Sure, Joan Gans, yeah.
Sure, Joan Gans Clooney Center at Sesame Workshop has issued a report in favor of gaming, which says, despite their reputation as promoters of violence and mayhem, digital games have, in fact, been shown to help children gain content and vital foundation and 21st century skills. Yoko, we grew up with Big Bird and Elmo. But what are your thoughts on this?
I'd like to say that this is a very important, you know, piece of tidbit, but I just, you know, if we had to, like, discover this on a blog, a random blog, and, you know, some gaming blogs reporting it, it's not going to change the opinion of the mass media, and that's a problem. I mean, mass media has this stigma against gaming. A lot of parental groups have this stigma against gaming, and I don't think something from Sesame Workshop, which produces Sesame Street, it's not going to mean a whole lot in the long run, but it's nice to see that someone in this general area stepping up and taking credit. That's for sure.
I'll tell you what, Sesame Street makes a lot of games for a demographic that, well, is way, way too young for us to look at, and I bet they sell a lot, so why wouldn't they support games?
Mm-hmm. But unless they make an actual statement on the show, parents aren't going to read this. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, given, they didn't actually do the research themselves, they're just quoting other research, and it's true. It actually is true. But anyways, that's all for this week's Top Stories. Coming up, what are our impressions of the spiritual successor to Guilty Gear, BLAZBLUE? Calamity Trigger, I think is the full title. And also, is there anything that fails more than a rubber ducky Wii bundle? Stick around to find out.
Welcome back. Now, in our past podcasts, we've interviewed many guests, and we'd like to continue this trend. However, we'd also like to analyze the latest games we've been playing as gamers personally, in an alternating section we'd like to call Game Gab. Now, I'm going to start out, I've been playing the CONDUIT. Now, the CONDUIT is, been released for the Nintendo Wii, and it's been hailed as the best FPS game on the Wii period. And, it actually is a fair statement to make.
But what's his competition? Red Steel?
Yeah, I mean...
Metroid Prime, maybe?
Well, Metroid Prime 3 is a first-person adventure. But, I would see that, this game is basically a blend of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption and Halo 3, just like in styles. And, but it just lacks polish.
Give us the bottom line. Okay? Is it fun?
It is pretty fun. However, there are some drawbacks. Like, if you're a story person like I am, the narrative blows. It's so cliched, and it's about, government is, betraying the protagonist, so you gotta trust this, terrorist who's trying to stop an alien horde. Like, the levels are also pretty, generic. You just, go in rooms and shoot stuff. I know, not many first-person shooters, are unique in this regard, but this feels almost stale, repetitive levels. But it does have good online. I'd be remiss if I, didn't mention the online. Of course, you're talking about Nintendo Wi-Fi connection and friend codes, but this game does a good job at it. If I were to give it a rating, I'd say, it'd be an 86 out of 100. It's a solid B, not really that close to the B+ range, but it does a pretty good job. I'd say 86 out of 100 for the CONDUIT for the Wii.
And I'll say, you know what? The biggest reason why I haven't played it yet is how do you play with someone in your own living room, Yoko?
Well, you can't.
There you go. That's why I haven't played it. No co-op. Not gonna touch it. Not my style.
I was gonna say we speak, but whatever.
Yeah, right. Anyways, back onto a game that I'm playing a lot that I just bought recently, and I've even got Allie, one of the top Brawl players, into as well, called BLAZBLUE, or BLAZBLUE. I really don't know how you pronounce it. It's the spiritual successor to Guilty Gear. A great 2D fighter. Really polished. It seems like fairly balanced, although Arcune is a character that's really giving it to me in the butt. Annoying as hell. But this has a ton of features that I've never seen before in any 2D fighter. Like, when I went to training mode, I figured out that you can actually switch characters in training mode, then do a combo, record the combo, go back to the character you're using, and then press a button and make the other character do the combo that you inputted. And you can train that. It's, so extreme. You can even go online, then sort by the top players online, top ranking players, that is, for each character if you want, or all the characters in general. And then you can look through each person, and there's an option for them to save replays, and their last match is saved. And you can download replays and watch them.
I mean, Street Fighter 4 had a downloadable content option, but for that to come packaged in is really great.
Yeah, and it's a really seamless, smooth system. The online, also, you can go into, a lobby, and there's, an arcade mode. You sit there with, 4 other people, and you play against each other, but not at the same time. You wait, you take turns, winner stays. It's like you're sitting in your living room playing. It's a great idea, and honestly, the game feels smooth. It took me a while to use the combo system, but I'm loving it right now. It's an amazing game, and just what they really needed to take a 2D fighter to the next level and to the new generation.
Yeah, speaking of Evo, that's definitely a game we're going to be seeing at future tournaments for sure.
It's going to be the next Evo for sure. The only reason it's not at this Evo is because it just came out recently. It came out last Tuesday, if I recall correctly. And honestly, it will be a big side tournament there, for sure.
Give it a rating.
I honestly don't. I don't like giving things ratings, but if I had to, I would say 93 out of 100, maybe even more, depending on the balance. Really, a fighting game depends on its balance and its lifespan. So we got to see what's
Sure.
just gonna pan out for that.